heatwaves are one of the deadliest natural hazards that can have severe impacts on human health, agriculture, and infrastructure. In the research paper, The Most At-Risk Regions in the World for High-Impact Heatwaves, published on Nature Communications, presents a comprehensive study on the regions that are most vulnerable to high-impact heatwaves. High-impact heatwaves are defined as those with a temperature exceeding the local threshold for human health impacts in different parts of the world. By analyzing historical data and climate model projections, the study identifies the regions that are most at risk and highlights the urgency of taking measures to prepare for and adapt to these events. The paper's findings provide valuable insights for policymakers and planners seeking to mitigate the impacts of heatwaves in a changing climate. Lead author, climate scientist Dr. Vicky Thompson at the University of Bristol Cabot Institute for the Environment, had this to say.
So we're seeing that heatwaves are getting more intense and they're getting hotter all the time.
And this is due to climate change. We've seen a 1 degree warming in the global mean temperature over the last 100 years.
And that's now showing up on the extremes. Over Europe in particular, we're seeing the heat waves accelerating faster than the mean temperature.
Co-author Dan Mitchell, professor in atmospheric sciences at the University of Bristol Cabot Institute for the Environment, added.
And a lot of people have been asking, what would this heat wave look like in future climate scenarios? How frequently would this heat wave occur in a 1.5 degree world or a 2 degree globally averaged world? And we've run some climate simulations, and we've shown that the current heat wave would reoccur once every 5 or 6 years in the current climate. Actually, in a 1.5 degree world, it would recur every other year. In a 2 degree world, it would be commonplace to see it every year. So we really need to limit our carbon emissions to stabilise our global temperature at that lower limit.
Other headlines that caught our eye this week. The New York Times article, What Climate Change Could Mean for the Coffee You Drink, explores the potential impact of climate change on the global coffee industry. The article highlights how rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and increasing pests and diseases could lead to significant declines in coffee production, which could result in higher prices and lower quality coffee. The article notes that many coffee-growing regions are already experiencing the effects of climate change, and that the industry needs to take action to adapt to these changes. The article concludes by highlighting some of the strategies that coffee farmers and companies are adopting to mitigate the impact of climate change, including investing in new varieties of coffee plants, improving farming practices, and reducing carbon emissions. On Tuesday, the LA Times article, Wet Winter May Delay, but Not Deter, 2023 Fire Season, We Must Not Let Our Guard Down, discusses the impact of the recent wet winter on the upcoming fire season in California. While the winter's rainfall has provided some relief to the state's drought conditions and reduced the immediate threat of wildfires, it has also led to an increase in vegetation growth that will eventually become dry fuel for fires. Experts warn that this year's fire season may be delayed, but it is still inevitable, and the risk remains high. The article also highlights the importance of continued fire prevention efforts and urges residents to remain vigilant and prepared for potential disasters. According to an article by The Guardian, the next UN Climate Summit will be the first to consider health issues in depth. A meeting of global health ministers will be held to highlight the consequences of the climate crisis for well-being. Sultan Al Jaber, the president of COP28, which will take place in Dubai this November, said on Tuesday, "We will be the first COP to dedicate a day to health and the first to host a health and climate ministerial. And we need to broaden our definition of adaptation to enable global climate resilience, transform food systems, and enhance forestry, land use, and water management." Stay tuned. This has been Ole K. Boomer for Ollie K, Nola, and the Boomer Tomb Network. See you next time. Cheers.